All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about Anthony Joshua and the Oleksandr Usyk fight, and how certain people are suggesting that this may be the end for Anthony Joshua. That he's going to lose this fight to Usyk. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Hey, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. It goes a long way towards growing the channel. All right, man, we're going to talk about Anthony Joshua. And the crazy thing is that maybe about 2 years ago, whenever you do an Anthony Joshua video, you know that you'd have a lot of really good conversations, going back and forth, heated debates, right? But that's not the case anymore. It's almost as if this Anthony Joshua fight is sneaking up on us and nobody's saying anything about it. There's not a lot of interest in it. It doesn't matter how much shenanigans Eddie Hearn tries to play to get attention on the fight. People aren't really focused on the fight because Anthony Joshua, and I do believe this is fair to say, I do believe the expectations of Anthony Joshua as far as being this gigantic boxing star and his actual capabilities has really taken a dive. And he's in a situation, I do believe, in this fight with Oleksandr Usyk, where he's might be walking into a loss against this guy, because Anthony Joshua, I do believe, right at this moment, is overrated, and I do believe that Oleksandr Usyk might be a little bit underrated, and the style mix up of this fight might actually wind up being to the benefit of Oleksandr Usyk. And I'm not the only person that says this. Michael Hunter, who's a heavyweight champion, he's not a heavyweight champion, but he's a heavyweight contender, pretty much says the same thing when he picked Oleksandr Usyk to beat Anthony Joshua. And I think that this is the primary reason why it took a while for these guys to make the fight. There's some people saying that it was Oleksandr Usyk was ducking Anthony Joshua or whatever, but no, he wanted to have, I do believe this is the WBO mandatory fight, and Anthony Joshua actually has to fight Oleksandr Usyk because he is in the mandatory position. This is not a fight that Anthony Joshua actually wanted. Now, the thing about Oleksandr Usyk that I think really, gives him some advantages over Anthony Joshua is this concept, of timing and speed and power, right? Derek James, who's the trainer of Errol Spence Jr., gave a really good explanation when he was asked in a comment in an interview that he did. He's like, "What's more important? Is it power or is it speed?" And what he said it was neither. He said he believes it's timing, right? And that it doesn't matter how powerful you are, if somebody can time you and beat you to the punch and you miss, the guy with the timing wins. Or doesn't matter how fast you can throw your hands, the guy with the best timing, is going to land the punch over the guy with the most speed, because he knows exactly when to throw it and when and where it's going to land, right? So he said timing beats all of that. And I think in the instance with Oleksandr Usyk, that is going to come into play with Anthony Joshua. I believe he has the faster hands. He's definitely not the more as powerful as Anthony Joshua is, but he has terrific timing, and he's a very, very skilled heavyweight. And the thing that I think is interesting about him is that he's not that big a heavyweight. Personally, I think that all this 6'9", 6'7", 300 pounds of bulging muscle heavyweight, I personally think that it is an overrated thing, and that that it's really just that there's not a lot of heavyweights that with a lot of skills that are playing the sport now versus back in the day when football, especially in the United States of America, when football wasn't as popular, or basketball wasn't as popular, and the bigger guys were actually boxing. But I do believe that guys around 6'4", 6'3" to maybe 6'5" are pretty much the optimal height for a heavyweight. And it's not the guys that are 6'7" or the guys that are 6'9", because if you see how those guys usually do not pan out. But you see guys like Lennox Lewis having trouble with Evander Holyfield, who's only about 6'3". Mike Tyson was 5'10", and I believe these guys would have done perfectly well in in modern, in what it's not modern, today's heavyweights, because they're so skilled. And Oleksandr Usyk, whether you like Oleksandr Usyk or not, or what you think of his champion of his chances, is a highly skilled fighter, man. He's got excellent footwork, he's got excellent hand speed, he's got excellent timing. He actually, and one thing that he is he's very, very active. Right now, at heavyweight, he's been a little less active than he was at cruiserweight, and that's understandable because you have guys that are really coming with a lot, that where the shots are a lot heavier. But nothing that I've seen out of Oleksandr Usyk tells me that he really can't handle the power of a heavyweight. And so I think that he is definitely one of the top heavyweights. And now I'm not saying that Oleksandr Usyk is the best heavyweight or a all-time heavyweight or whatever, anything like that. But at the same time, I don't think Anthony Joshua is all Anthony Joshua is chopped up to be. Anthony Joshua is in large part, not to discredit him completely, he's a bit of a media made fighter and a match made fighter. He's been fighting guys throughout his career who were selected for him to look good, and the guys that he's fought have not had. The only person that I've seen him fight that has decent hand speed is Andy Ruiz, and you saw what happened with Andy Ruiz the first time that they fought him. Now, Andy Ruiz came back in the second fight, but Andy Ruiz isn't somebody that has really good footwork and is able to get in and out and move around the ring, where I think Oleksandr Usyk is really going to be able to get in range and out of range of Anthony Joshua. And you add to that the fact that Anthony Joshua does not have the best chin in the world. There's a chance that Oleksandr Usyk might be able to catch him and hurt him, right? I'm not completely convinced that, and this is what my sources say, that Anthony Joshua's confidence is all the way back from after having, gotten knocked out by Andy Ruiz. Now, he's had the win over Andy Ruiz, and then he had the win over Kubrat Pulev. But, Kubrat Pulev is a guy who's, well beyond his, first of all, he was never that good a fighter to begin with, slow-handed, slow-footed, right? Has a good jab, but that's about it. Other than that, he's there for Anthony Joshua. He was going to be there for Anthony Joshua to tee off on at a certain point in time. Oleksandr Usyk isn't that type of fighter. He's not going to be there for Anthony Joshua to just tee off on. It's going to be a situation where, Anthony Joshua's going to have to think his way through that. Now, I think Anthony Joshua's a pretty intelligent fighter. And, he may be able to make adjustments in the ring, because he did show in the second Andy Ruiz fight that he could fight on the outside. But, this particular matchup, man, I think is something that they didn't really want, that the WBO and Bob Arum put him in a situation to have. And if Anthony Joshua's confidence is not all the way there, and Oleksandr Usyk is able to withstand his power, I can see Oleksandr Usyk winning this in a decision. Now, and I say in a fair decision, because I know if this fight is over in the UK, which most likely is going to be, there may not be a fair decision. They may lean heavily towards Anthony Joshua, but that type of situation to the side, man, I think it's a really dangerous fight for him, and I think that Oleksandr Usyk very well may win the fight. But that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section, and with that, I'm out. Peace.